I'm going to ask you a question here. We need to start preparing for El Nino. El Nino. And how many of you know how much tread is on your tires right now? Yeah, you do. And are your windshield wipers, are they working? And how old is your battery? These are just a few of the preventative maintenance things you're going to need to kind of take care of before these torrential rains start hitting us. So I thought what I'd do is go over about 6 preventable maintenance safety tips. A lot of them you can do yourself, and of course we're there always available to help you with any of these services. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is the tires. And underinflated and overinflated tires, if they're not properly aired, can really affect the way your brakes work. And 85% of vehicles on the road right now have at least one underinflated tire. And that's per the Rubber Manufacturer Association. So what we're going to recommend is you check your tire pressure at least once a month. You should do it first thing in the morning when your tires are cold. And it's very simply, you have a tire gauge. You can get that at the auto parts store, or you can stop at the shop here. We'd be very happy to, check the tire pressure. You need to check your manual too, as what is the appropriate tire pressure for your car. Usually it's about 32 pounds, but again, if it's a truck or a more high performance car, it's going to be different. Worn tires are very dangerous in wet weather and will cause slipping or hydroplaning, and that also affects the ability for you to brake or steer your car. So your tread thickness should be between 4/16 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch. The tread thickness should be at least, well, I said that, but anyway, what the tread does is move the water out of the way of the tire so it can touch the ground. And when those grooves get thin, water cannot move freely, and then that's what's causing the hydroplaning. So your car's not touching the road. And you can always do the old penny trick. And you heard that with Lincoln, and you put it into the groove, and if you can see Lincoln's hair, you need tires. If you can't see his face, you should be okay for a while. So, but at our shop, we actually have a tread measure, and we can look at that and tell you more accurately exactly,
Lincoln's part.
But brakes, I would say, is the most important safety component of your vehicle, and on wet roads, it takes longer for your brakes to stop. So if you have any brake warning lights on your dash, if the brake pedal feels mushy, if you start feeling a pulsation, now is the time to get them checked. And that's part of our service too. And when we do an oil change, we check and measure the brakes, and can tell you exactly the millimeters of brake pad you have on your car. Your headlights and your brake lights are so important. And your headlights, a lot of them are cloudy and foggy. Now we can actually clean them. There's so many great products out there that you used to have to replace the headlamp lenses, but now we can clean them up. I've had it done on my car, and it's really nice. And you need that so people can see you and you can also see. And then making sure your brake lights, and you can actually do that yourself. Just at night, go to a vacant store lot, back your car up, look in the window, and you can check your own brake lights. Make sure your blinkers are working, and then just turn around and make sure your lights, your headlamp. Why are you looking so?
If you have a garage door, just pull the garage, close the door, same thing.
If you have a mirror in the back? Light? Okay, well, anyway. If you can put your, now I don't know if in my neighborhood, the garages, more for storage unit. I am.
Ping pong table.
But anyway, Anyway, it's a good way to check your lights too, make sure that your high beams are working also. So Also, what you want to do is make sure your windshield wipers are working. That's really important. And believe it or not, windshield wipers don't last that long. They last around this area about 6 months just because of our environment and the heat and the pollutants out there. So if they're skipping or they're smearing, it's time to get them replaced. And I just happen to have this coupon for free windshield wipers now, if any service or maintenance. So that was the time to get your cars checked out. Also, your battery, that's really important. With wet weather, cold weather, the battery starts corroding. It's not as effective. And if your battery is over 5 years old, just replace it. Batteries just don't last. They don't. And I know a lot of people have this thing about batteries, but get it replaced. Because when they go, they go. And then I think probably the most other important thing, probably besides the brakes, is keep a full tank of gas. During an emergency situation, and I remember that from the San Francisco earthquake, people needed to get out and they couldn't. They had no gas, or there was in line for gas. So they're really suggesting keep a full tank of gas. So with that, again, I'll say, if there is anything you need on your vehicle that we can help you with, we are there. As Jean said, Mike and I are celebrating 22 years in business, and we've grown because of our relationships. We've built them, with our customer service. I think Mike and I go the extra mile for our customers, picking up cars, taking them home, working with them, our knowledge. We have ASC master technicians. Mike is an ASC master technician. I've hired 2 new technicians recently. They're both ASC technicians. We stand behind our work, and that includes nationally. So if you do have a problem with your car, we stand behind it, especially with the parts or the labor that we did on the car. And we are part of some very valued associations, such as AAA and the Automotive Service of Excellence and the Automotive Service Council. We've been members for those for many years. And importantly, we are a licensed smog and repair station. So that way, if you have a problem with your check engine light or a failed smog, we can repair that for you. And we're specializing in that with not only our technicians, but also with the equipment that we're purchasing too. We're located in Huntington Beach off of Metzler. Our hours are Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5:30. And if you like more information about us, we do have a wonderful website, mikesautohb.com, and you can learn more about us. And any questions about this big old El Nino car?
Saturday starts. It's going to rain Saturday. Has Apple.
Okay. All right, so I'll be busy tomorrow, right?
That's a two question. When you said to check your tire, the inflation of your tire, but on the newer cars, they have gauges that tell you. Should you wait for that, or should you just check it anyway?
Well, you have a brand new car, I would say you should be okay. Actually, those newer gauges are pretty accurate, so I would suspect. But it wouldn't hurt. I mean, just to make sure the gauge is working, just
right.
to, make sure.
And the other thing is there's, we used to do this years ago, and we still do it, but when our windshield wipers would get dirty, we would take alcohol and go across the wiper again.
Well, like I said,
dry it out?
It would dry it out, I would suspect, because it's rubber, and like a lot of people, they look like they're intact, but they actually, rubber gets really hard, and from our elements, and that would dry it out. So it's just better, to just change them out. I would say every 6 months, seriously.
There might even be free coupons on your site for.
Yes, there are. Did you put that on for me, Sean? You're such a good boy. I love it. Thank you so much. Yes. But, so anyway, we can look at those. But wipers are really funny. And you know what? This is really, make sure your windshield washer fluid is full too, because, you know, debris and things are going to be flying. You're going to need that. And Mike used to joke, or he still jokes, you know, that's the most important fluid in the car is that windshield washer fluid. So. Well, if you ask any female, did you check that windshield washer fluid? That's what they usually do.
So you could, so this is like, is it dangerous to drive around with your check engine light on?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it.
It's only been 2 years, right?
With your check engine light, it can actually be anything. You know, it can be something as simple as your gas cap wasn't tightened. A lot of times what you can do is take it off and then, you know, put it back on tight and see if the computer will reset itself after you drive maybe about 25 miles. If it doesn't, I would really recommend to get it checked. And then importantly, if it works out, get it fixed, because we only have one check engine light, but there's over 2,000 different things that check engine light comes on. And I actually recently had a customer that she had a check engine light code, and she decided not to fix it, and then her transmission went out. Well, that's a completely different code. And if she'd have fixed the other problem when the check engine light came on, and you fixed that, she probably could have saved her transmission. But she didn't, you know, so you only have one light with many different codes. And I have one more important thing with this El Nino I just thought of, and this happened to a customer of ours, Huntington Beach. She was parked, so be careful where you're parking in the street. The water actually raised up and flooded her car. And then it receded down. And then when she opened her car door, there was a little bit of water that came out. But it was she was really lucky, because that could have affected her electrical system. We were able to get it dried out, and actually dried out her PCM. That was the big thing. We thought we were going to have to replace her computer in her car. But it was because she was parked, and I guess there was a drainage ditch, and it was full, and the water came up and they receded. So there's going to be a lot of that going on. So just be careful where you're parking at night too. So, okay, all right. Thank you very much.